السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد, brothers and sisters in Islam, welcome to your weekly Aqeedah class. I would like to first extend my gratitude and thankfulness to Mr. Muhammad Ali and Mr. R. Hassan for providing the questionnaires with the answers on my behalf, therefore minimizing the pressure and the responsibility on my shoulders. So thank you very much. That said, now that this is out of the way, we could start discussing what we promised to discuss last week. And we've been talking about Karamat and so on and so forth. And we said this is quite a controversial topic. So let's continue the controversy. Shall we? We shall. All right. So the author, rahimahullah, says, I believe we were at the end of this paragraph here. قوله وما يجري الله على أيديهم من خوارق العادات, and whatever Allah Azza wa Jal allows to happen through their hands of the extraordinary things, the unusual things. خوارق جمع خارق, so the term خوارق is the plural for the singular خارق, and we said that's an unusual occurrence of some sort. والعادات is the plural of the singular عادة. So the habitual, the norm, ada meaning something that you do out of norm. This word is very broad, by the way. In the Arabic language, it has so many different usages depending on the context. So if you live in a Gulf region, then you're familiar with the term adi, and it's actually common in Levant as well. Adi means adi. How do you explain adi? It means, yeah, that's the usual, that's cool, not a big deal, not a big deal. One of the most common usages is not a big deal. And then when there's something that comes in like extra and you want the standard version, you say you want it adi. And then ada is something that you do often, like a habit. And so that's why the scholars use the term adat and ibadat. So they say ibadat is worship, adat are the things that are habitually done. Al-Muhim, والمراد بخوارق العادات, what is intended by خوارق العادات here is ما يأتي على خلاف العادة الكونية, that which happens that is not in line with the universal norm. It's not the usual, it's not the standard, it's not the orthodox. وهذه الكرامات لها 4 دلالات, and those karamat have 4 signs or indications or evidences, if you may say. أولا, the first of which بيان كمال قدرة الله عز وجل حيث حصل هذا الخارق العادة بأمر الله. First of all, it's showing the complete ability of Allah Azza wa Jal, since that which happened is unusual only by the command and will of Allah. ثانيا, secondly, تكذيب القائلين بأن الطبيعة هي التي تفعل. This is a refutation against those who say that nature does. And here, my brothers and sisters and ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go into another topic. Quickly though, Bismillah. And what is that other topic is that it is very common among Arabs, al-Arab بشكل عام والعجم أحيانا, to say that شاءت القدرة. So they refer the will to the decree of Allah, as though the decree of Allah acts independently of Allah. And that expression is not befitting to be said. So when you want to mention something and, the decree or the decree basically necessitated that we meet, no, you don't just say, you don't refer this or attribute it to the decree independent of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's the decree of Allah. Hello? And here in this case, people attribute things to nature, that this was a natural disaster. Yes, it's a natural disaster that is ordered by Allah. So the floods in Pakistan, may Allah Azza wa Jal alleviate their suffering and their hardship and make it easy for them, is done and is constructed and orchestrated by Allah Azza wa Jal himself. You may say, why? No, you may not say why. By the way, the first thing is don't say why, because you don't ask Allah Azza wa Jal about what he does, and you get asked about what you do. However, in order to be non-superficial and non-shallow, and to understand our religion properly, we have to understand that we don't have enough knowledge to comprehend the greater deep matters behind things. When Allah already told us, وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا, you've been given of knowledge nothing but little, only a little of knowledge. Meaning, if we were to be given access to the ultimate knowledge of Allah, then we would have understood that every single thing that Allah has decreed in the world is the perfect decree. Every single action that has ever occurred in the history of the universe is exactly in the best way it could be, because it was done by Allah. You, human being who do not have that knowledge, perceive from your limited understanding of life that this may not be the appropriate thing, or this was too much, or this was too little. That's just because you have no idea what you're talking about. That's because you don't know any better. Because you don't have the knowledge of Allah, and you're not expected to have the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No distraction, please. So the bottom line is, whenever things like this happen, we have to look beyond the surface. So could it be for the alleviation? Okay, when Allah afflicts a group of people with a calamity, is that a means for their sins to be forgiven? Absolutely. So when the believers endure suffering, do they actually gain from this? Absolutely. What is the ultimate objective for you? Is to go to Jannah or to have a lavish life? You say to go to Jannah. So if you're going to earn Jannah via suffering in this world, is it worth it for you? Absolutely. Therefore, what are you tripping about? What are you tripping about? Versus that Allah allows you to live this lavish life, but you're accumulating these sins non-stop. And at the end, if Allah doesn't decree any means for those sins to be expiated, you're going to have to carry them on Yawm al-Qiyamah. And then what? And then what? You say, okay, brother, yeah, well, that's nice if everybody was sinning, but not everybody's sinning. Really? Okay, wow. First of all, everybody's sinning. Brother, fine, everybody sins, but some of them have just minor sins, and that's normal. The righteous people, what about the righteous people? Well, what about the righteous people? The righteous people, what about the prophets and the messengers? What about the at the time of Noah and the flood that overtook the entire earth? And then he had to fight his way out for survival. What about every prophet and messenger that had to endure all types of calamities and trials? So for the believer, it means for their reward to be multiplied. They're being tested, and Allah Azza wa Jal, when He loves a slave, He will test him. So for the believer, it is an increase in reward. For the evil person, the sinful person, it is means for the sins to be expiated. For the disbeliever, they get to know who Allah is. For the disbeliever, they hold back and say, yo, we're really weak. It's a reminder about how weak the son of Adam is. Maybe they will take heed and return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if you're this is a very, very slight pondering on the potential benefits, and this is what we can deduce. What is unknown and hidden is way beyond that with the knowledge of Allah Azza wa Jal. You distrust Allah because you're a slave of Allah. So there's no such thing as a natural disaster that is not done and that does not take place except by Allah's will. Every single thing is commanded by Allah Azza wa Jal, so that the humans can take heed. ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس ليذيقهم بعض الذي عملوا لعلهم يرجعون. Corruption and evil has spread on the land and on the sea and on the earth. In the sea and on the earth. في البر والبحر, on the land and in the sea, I'm sorry. بما كسبت أيدي الناس, because of what the hands of the humans have earned. So Allah will make them taste بعض, some of what they have put forth. Perhaps they will return to Him. Perhaps they will repent to Allah Azza wa Jal. You understand? So those who say that the طبيعة تفعل, the nature does, لأنه if the nature was the one who does, لو كانت الطبيعة هي التي تفعل لكانت الطبيعة على نسق واحد لا يتغير, then the universe, the nature would have been in one mode that doesn't change. فإذا تغيرت العادات والطبيعة, but when the norm and the nature changes, دل على أن للكون مدبرا وخالقا. This becomes an indication that this universe has an entity that is in charge, a creator that is arranging its affair and controlling it. So that is the first. عفوا, that was the second. Here's the third. أنها آية للنبي المتبوع كما أسلفنا قريبا. That this is a sign for the prophet that is followed by people, as we've previously mentioned. When this karama happens to his followers, it's a sign about the validity and the truthfulness of the prophet that was sent to them. رابعا, fourthly, أن فيها تثبيتا وكرامة لهذا الولي. This becomes a means of giving firmness and an honor for the receiver of this karama, the one to whom this karama is taken place, has occurred to. حلو. قوله في أنواع العلوم والمكاشفات وأنواع القدرة والتأثيرات. In the various sciences or knowledges, the knowledge of mukashafat. Now, what is mukashafat? This is a very tricky technical term that is again abused by the deviant Satan associated individuals who claim that they are actually receiving karamat with the mukashafat. Mukashafat from al-kashf. Al-kashf is to unveil. Al-kashf عن الجهاز الجديد is unveiling the new device. حلو. يستكشف is a person that discovers. So discovery in general is المكاشفة أو الكشف أو الاستكشاف. Also a scout, they're called the same term. The same term is used. كشاف. The scouts are called كشافة. You see, all of these terms have to do with the matter of discovering, finding, unveiling, unboxing, unwrapping. حلو. And so on and so forth. وأنواع القدرة والتأثيرات, and the various types of ability and effects. يعني أن الكرامة تنقسم إلى قسمين. We deduce from this that karama is divided into two types. قسم يتعلق بالعلوم والمكاشفات, a part that is related or connected with knowledge and unveiling. وقسم آخر يتعلق بالقدرة والتأثيرات, another one associated with ability and effects. أما العلوم فأن يحصل للإنسان من العلوم ما لا يحصل لغيره. As for knowledge, it could be that a person will possess a kind of knowledge that other people don't possess. That does not occur to other people. مثال الأول, an example of the first. عفوا. وأما المكاشفات, as for the مكاشفات, فإنه يظهر له من الأشياء التي يكشف له عنها ما لا يحصل لغيره. That he will also, something will be unveiled for him that doesn't happen to others. مثال الأول, an example of the first regarding al-ulum, knowledge, ما ذكر عن أبي بكر, what has been narrated to and attributed to Abu Bakr. Let's check the authenticity of this particular narration here. رواه اللالكائي في كرامات الأولياء ورد بن حجر في الإصابة. طيب. أن الله أطلعه على ما في بطن زوجته الحمل أعلمه الله أنه أنثى. Allah Azza wa Jal allowed him or informed him of what was in his wife's womb while she was pregnant, and that it was a girl, that she was pregnant with a girl. حلو. ومثال الثاني, as for the second example, المكاشفات, the unveiling, ما حصل لأمير المؤمنين عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله عنه حين كان يخطب الناس يوم الجمعة على المنبر. What happened to the prince of the believers, Umar, the son of Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, while he was delivering the sermon on Friday from the pulpit. فسمعوه يقول يا سارية الجبل. They heard him say, "Oh Sariya, the mountain. يعني go to the mountain. فتعجبوا من هذا الكلام. So they were amazed with this speech. ثم سألوه عن ذلك. Later on they asked him about that. فقال إنه كشف له عن سارية بن زنيم وهو أحد قواده في العراق. He said that he was informed that one of his commanders, he was one of his commanders in Iraq, Sariya bin Zanim. He was informed that particular leader, general among the army that he sent to Iraq, وأنه محصور من عدوه, and that he was surrounded by his enemy. فوجهه إلى الجبل. So he basically gave him guidance to go seek protection in the mountain. وقال له يا سارية الجبل. He said to him, oh Sariya, the mountain. فسمع سارية صوت عمر. الله أكبر. Sariya all the way there in Iraq heard the voice of Umar. وانحاز إلى الجبل وتحصن به. And he actually moved towards the mountain. He moved towards the mountain and he sought fortification in there. And this particular narration, or this athar, was narrated by Al-Bayhaqi in Dalail al-Nubuwah, and Ibn Kathir in the Bidayah, as it says here in the footnote, and Isnadu Hasanun Jayyid. It's an acceptable chain of narrators, and it was also authenticated by Imam Al-Albani rahimahullah in As-Silsila As-Sahiha. So that is a sound narration we have right there. هذه من أمور المكاشفات. So these were examples of the unveiling. لأنه أمر واقع لكنه بعيد. Because it is a fact, but it is it's far away. It's far away. It was not the usual. نعم. Because he was all the way in the other place, basically, in Iraq. أما القدرة والتأثير. Now we go into the second category, because we divided them into two. So there are four of them. They're divided in couples. So the العلوم والمكاشفات 1 and القدرة والتأثيرات as the second. So regarding the second, فمثل ما وقع لمريم من هزها لجذع النخل وتساقط الرطب عليها, is example what happened to Maryam when she was commanded to shake the trunk of the palm tree, and then that caused the fresh dates to fall down. ومثل ما وقع للذي عنده علم من الكتاب, and like what happened with the one who possessed knowledge of the book. حيث قال لسليمان, he said to Sulaiman, أنا آتيك به قبل أن يرتد إليك طرفك. I will bring it before you, meaning the throne of Sheba, before the blink of the eye, before you finish blinking your eye, basically. Hello? Those are examples of ability and effects. قوله, the statement of Ibn Taymiyyah right now, والمأثور عن سالف الأمم في سورة الكهف وغيرها وعن صدر هذه الأمة من الصحابة والتابعين وسائر فرق الأمة. And whatever else has been reported to us from the previous nations, in Surah Al-Kahf, for example, and others, meaning in the Quran, we have stories of what happened to the previous people before. All of these were examples of karamat. So some of them were in Surah Al-Kahf. Again, the man whom Allah caused to die and caused him to live after 100 years, and so on and so forth. وغيرها, and others. وعن صدر هذه الأمة من الصحابة, and also the foremost, the earliest of this ummah, of the generation of the Sahaba and the Tabi'een, and then whoever follows them from among the various groups of this ummah until the day of judgment. Hello? طيب. So all the generations until يوم القيامة. الكرامات موجودة فيما سبق من الأمم ومنها قصة أصحاب الغار الذين انطبقت عليهم الصخرة. So for now we're going to go to a hadith. The karamat have existed in the nations before us, and among them is the story of the companions of the cave who had the rock basically block them from being able to exit. وموجودة في عهد الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم, and he was also present at the time of the Prophet عليه السلام, كقصة أسيد بن حضير, as we mentioned last time, like the story of Usayd. وتكثير الطعام عند بعض الصحابة, and then the increase and the multiplication of food among some of the Sahaba. وموجودة في التابعين, it is also known among the Tabi'een. مثل قصة صلة بن أشيم الذي أحيا الله له فرسه, like the story of Sila, whom Allah Azza wa Jal caused his horse to come back to life. All of these we've already addressed in the last class, guys. So whoever missed the last class, you can comfortably go back to that in order to be on the same page as we are. Barakallah fikum. حلو. يقول شيخ الإسلام في كتاب الفرقان. Shaykh al-Islam says in his book The Criterion, وهذا باب واسع. This is a very vast topic. قد بسط الكلام على كرامات الأولياء في غير هذا الموضع. We have addressed and expounded on speaking about the karamat of the awliya in another occasion. وأما ما نعرفه نحن عيانا ونعرفه في هذا الزمان فكثير. He said, as for what we have seen with our own eyes and what we know from our time, then it's an abundant. Meaning even at the time of Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, they were seeing plenty of that. And of course, we wouldn't be surprised if many of these karamat happened to Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah himself. But of course, because of his humbleness and because of his sincerity, he wouldn't be the one to speak about them. But you wouldn't be surprised if some people that you know have actually had these karamat happen, but they're not going to go and flaunt them and make a show out of them and seek people's praise and admiration. It's a very, very tricky thing. طيب. وقوله وهي موجودة فيها إلى يوم القيامة, and it will remain in this ummah until the day of resurrection. There will always be karamat. والدليل على أنها موجودة إلى يوم القيامة سمعي وعقلي. As for the evidence that it will remain until the day of resurrection is both sam'i, and we've discussed this before. I hope you guys remember those the details and these expressions we've had. So for example, when we say that it's going to be sam'i, what does sam'i stand for? Let me actually log in here and see. Maybe I can see your, because I cannot see what you're saying right now here. Hello. All right, cool. Guys? So sam'i, we said from what? Sam', from hearing. And if it's sam'i, that means it's a textual evidence, because the fundamental principle regarding revelation, meaning regarding the Quran and the Sunnah, is that you hear it with your ears. Meaning the Prophet ﷺ did not receive a book that was revealed and sent down to him. In that sense, it was a book. What was given to him was verbal recitation, and he verbally communicated and conveyed it to his companions and his followers. So the principle regarding evidence is that it's something that you hear from sami'tu, sam'i. So when we say sam'i, meaning a textual evidence from the Quran or the Sunnah. Wa-aqli, from aql, meaning it's intellectual. It's an intellectual matter pertaining to the aql or the mind. Amma sam'i. First, we're going to deal with the textual evidence, which is the one that is heard. نعم. فإن الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم أخبر في قصة الدجال أنه يدعو رجلا من الناس من الشباب يأتي ويقول له كذبت إنما أنت المسيح الدجال الذي أخبرنا عنك رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. For example, we know that the Prophet ﷺ told us about the story of the Dajjal, that he will call on a man from among the young men of the Muslims, and this man will come to him and say to him, you have lied, you are nothing but the false Messiah that the Prophet ﷺ told us about. فيأتي الدجال, the Dajjal will come, فيقتله قطعتين, he will chop him in half, he will kill him by splitting him in half. فيجعل واحدة هنا وواحدة هنا رمية الغرض, يعني بعيد ما بينهما. So he will put one part of him here and the other part on the other side. Do you understand? He will chop him in half and he will keep the parts of this man separated away from each other. ويمشي بينهما, and then he will walk in between. ثم يدعوه فيقوم يتهلل, then he will call him, so the man will actually resurrect. He will get up and he will say يتهلل, يعني he will say لا إله إلا الله. ثم يدعوه ليقر له بالعبودية. Then that Dajjal will call him. He will call him and he will command him to submit to him in worship. فيقول رجل ما كنت فيك أشد بصيرا مني اليوم. I've never been more clear and have more knowledge and yaqeen and insight about basically your deviance than today. فيريد الدجال أن يقتله فلا يسلط عليه. So the Dajjal will try to kill him again and he will not be given authority over him. The Dajjal will not be able to kill him. Hello? So this is an interesting point about this is an evidence that it will happen until Yawm al-Qiyamah, because this is a karama that this man, even though he will be chopped, he will be put back, and then when the Dajjal will try to kill him again, he will not be able to kill him. فهذه أي عدم تمكن الدجال من قتل هذا الشاب. So the idea that the Dajjal will not be able to kill this young man من الكرامات بلا شك, it is among the karamat, no doubt about that. وأما العقلي, that was the textual evidence. As for the intellectual evidence, فيقال ما دام سبب الكرامة هي الولاية فالولاية لا تزال موجودة إلى يوم القيامة. If the main reason behind the karama is that a person is a wali of Allah, then the wilayah should remain until the establishment of the hour, because there will always be a wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There will always be a wali of the awliya of Allah, because we said, أَلَا إِنَّ أَوْلِيَاءَ اللَّهِ لَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَهُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. Who are the awliya of Allah who shouldn't grieve and shouldn't be sad? الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَكَانُوا يَتَّقُونَ. Those who believe and they have taqwa. So until Yawm al-Qiyamah, as long as there are people who believe and have taqwa, alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, there are plenty, then they will remain to be awliya. As long as they are awliya, then they should be karamat accordingly. Hey. Tab here, I'm going to meet you guys halfway. Hello. Because y'all were looking for a long Q&A for 1 hour, and I'm traveling this coming week, inshallah, so I will not be able to fulfill your desires. And because we're already entering a new chapter or a new section, so there's no point in extending, so we can have proper naming for the classes, we will stop right now, and we will have a longer Q&A so we could make everybody happy. Meanwhile, next week, inshallah, we'll be discussing في طريقة أهل السنة العملية, the practical methodology of Ahl-us-Sunnah wal-Jamaa'ah, and that would be a very valuable lesson for all of you, so stay tuned for that, inshallah. Meanwhile, stop sharing, and you are guys fighting while I was gone. Oh my gosh. طيب, Ustad, the grave in Karbala, which the Rafida do ziyarah of is it of Hussein alayhi salam or not? If not, I don't know, Habibi. I don't know where the grave Al-Hussein is, and nor do I really care, and nor should you care. We are not ones who are obsessed with graves and who's in them. All right? The only grave that matters is the grave of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because you've been instructed, or you've been told when you go there to give salam to the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, and then the companions that were buried next to him, Abu Bakr and Umar. As for the rest of the people, it doesn't concern you where they are and where the graves are. There's no virtue in it whatsoever. So that's not something that you should be preoccupied about, in my opinion. I could be wrong about it, but I don't know. These matters of the ones that the Shia try to magnify, it's a very slippery slope. Be careful. Hey. In Salatul Witr, can witr be performed after Fajr? Is niqab wajib due to modern circumstances? Okay, wait. In Salatul Witr, is it 2 tashahuds? It depends on what type of witr are you praying. Witr could be either 1 rak'ah or 3 rak'at, and depends of how you pray it. If you pray 3 rak'at, unlike Maghrib, then it's only 1 tashahud. It's only 1 tashahud. If you pray Shafa' and Witr separated 2 and 1, then yes, it's the tashahud for the 2 rak'atayn and the tashahud for the single rak'ah of Witr. Can Witr be performed after Fajr? No. I mean, you can if you miss it. If you miss your Qiyam al-Layl, yes, you can make it up after Fajr, particularly after sunrise, and then you add, it's no longer an odd number, it becomes an even. So if you wanted to pray 3, you will pray 4. If you wanted to pray 5, you will pray 6, and so on and so forth. Is niqab wajib due to modern circumstances? No. It doesn't become wajib due to modern circumstances. It becomes wajib if the Quran and the Sunnah indicate that it's wajib. It can become more recommended it's more recommended because of the common modern circumstances, yes, but the ruling does not change. And I am of the opinion that wearing the niqab is not obligatory, but it is highly, highly recommended. Now, can I play on an empty basketball court that is next to another one that has women and music? If you're able to lower your gaze, and if the music is just in the background, yes, you can. Meaning you're not actively listening to the music and you're not looking at these women at all. Yes, if that's not avoidable, find another court. Come to Saudi. We made a team. We have our first meet and greet today at 7:15, inshallah. And we're going to have a tournament. And we were excited. Come to Saudi, join our team. Yalla. Do I have a debt of giving a check? Oh my God. Khalas, Mussab, Baba, you cannot notice that every day the same question comes up on this is a different one now? From the days I was not practicing and didn't pray Salat al-Duha. So basically, do these obligations pile up or they due upon me? No, they're not. No, they're not. You're fine. Is doing email copywriting permissible? Where you write emails to promote a company which has some haram, but their main work in and of itself is halal, like how you promote Samsung. And their main thing is tech, but they have haram marketing or ads with music and women. So what is the question? I don't understand. What was the first question? I don't know what email copywriting is. So okay, I understand. So you have some business where these companies reach out to you and you send emails to recipients on their behalf, but you worry that they are involved in haram stuff. Yeah, that's definitely a problem. Yeah, but with Samsung, I don't send an email to anybody. There's all types of things that Samsung does that have haram. I don't post them. You see, look at any average trainer for Samsung. When we have the Unpacked event will have women, will have videos with music, and all these things. You know, you would want they would want me to put on my social media and to make public. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, with the best of my ability, I try not to put any of those, in spite of me wanting to really push the product forward. So no, there's a barrier, there's a border that you have to stay within. Naam. Assalamu alaikum. Is it far to obey my parents if they tell me to leave sunnah actions like raf' al-yadayn, hands on chest, moving finger, etc., or should I ignore them respectfully and follow the sunnah? No, you should obey them. You should obey them. Because if there's a conflict between a voluntary act of worship and an obligatory act of worship, you give precedence to the obligatory. Obeying your parents is obligatory, and those other acts of worship are recommended, if not subject to difference of opinion. Even their recommendation is subject to difference of opinion. So certainly obey your parents. However, you should try your best to respectfully educate them on the matter. Perhaps they will change their mind. Now, have you heard the news of the Pakistani Mahdi, Ustad? Oh no, I have not. I know Pakistan, Zindabad, Zindbad or something will always put, they always have some wild stuff going on. I will never forget Tahir al-Qadri. I want to attend the lectures of scholars available on YouTube. What I want to do to understand these classes, as I don't know Arabic. I don't understand what you're saying either. So first, I don't know who the Mahdi is, but I'm not surprised. You want to attend the lectures of scholars, you don't understand Arabic, there's not much I can do for you, akhi. To try to take as many notes as possible and find a student of knowledge who can help you. Do the Amau Academy. What? Amau Academy, they have an Arabic course right now. Join the Arabic course and learn Arabic as soon as possible. For oath expiation, I have enough money to feed 5 people and not full 10. So then must I feed 5 people? Then after that 3 days to expiate? No, then you just go to the fasting right away. If you cannot afford to feed 10 people, then you can opt for the fasting. Because the ayah says, فَمَنْ لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ فَصِيَامُ ثَلَاثَةِ أَيَّامٍ. Whoever's unable, so then fasting 3 days. Hey! Bismillah. Second question by Mansoor. We know it's shirk to describe the creation with the attributes of Allah and vice versa. Since Allah is eternal and Jahannam is eternal, isn't this a type of shirk? No, ya Ustad. No, Habibi. Because it's first of all, it's the problem is in the misunderstanding of describing the creation with the attributes of Allah and vice versa. That is incorrect. That is not, it's not shirk. You have knowledge, Allah has knowledge. You both share the attribute of knowledge with Allah. That's shirk. You have eyes, Allah has eyes. That's shirk. You have sight, Allah has sight. That's shirk. You have life, Allah has life. That's shirk. No. It's just that the life, the knowledge, the sight, the hearing, all the ability of Allah are not like ours. So we share an aspect of them, but we don't share them in the ultimate sense. Similarly, the eternity of Jannah and Jahannam is not equal to the eternity of Allah. So there's a common, they share a common, in that sense, we're all eternal. In that sense, we're all eternal. You, when you go to Jannah, you will be there forever. And the kafir, when he goes to Jahannam, he will be there forever. So now you're being eternal like Allah. Is that the same eternality of Allah? No, it's not. It's not the same eternality. Capish, Mansoor? All the way from 1992, ya Shaykh. You are younger. Yalla ya Hujjaj. Everybody, every day I get doubts if I committed shirk or kufr. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. My question is, can I generally do tawbah for any shirk or kufr I may have committed unknowingly? Yeah, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to do that. Prophet sallam, أعوذ بك أن أشرك بك وأنا أعلم وأستغفرك مما لا أعلم, or something along these lines. The Prophet ﷺ used to seek refuge with Allah from committing shirk while he knows, or from that which he does not know about. So yeah, he can do that. But what you really need to fix, ya Umar, is this waswas that the shaitan, the shaitan is messing about with you with. That's what you need to worry about. Don't let the shaitan play games with you until he drives you berserk. Get a grip and get a hold of yourself and get over it. All right? It's a sickness, ya Captain. Yalla. Salam, bro, Abu Musab. Wa alaikum salam, Farouk Abdul Rauf. During Mawlid period, the people would sing, dance, and bang drums loudly in our local masjid, distracting others, praying and reading Quran. How should we resolve this issue? Wallahi, Farouk, the way you can resolve this issue is not by not being in that masjid in the first place. Don't be at the place where the curse of Allah is descending. Those people are tripping. And don't be with them while they're tripping. Find another masjid where this is not happening. Don't go to the masjid at all. It's haram to turn the house of Allah into a disco and dance and bang drums and act stupid. It's haram. And don't be involved with these people, and don't. Now, that's level A. Level B, you got authority, you have knowledge, go talk to their head. Say, let me sit down with you. Let's break this down. Where did you bring this mawlid from, ya ta'ban? Ya ta'ban ant. 300 years, 400 years after the Prophet ﷺ, not a single person celebrated mawlid. It took him 400 years for the Fatimites to invent this bid'ah. And you want to impose it on people now? You think the Sahaba missed out and the Tabi'in missed out? Ya majnoon ant, ya majnoon. Of course, don't talk to them this way. But you know what I'm saying. Next. Nihad Allen or Amin? Allen Wasalin, you know them? Allen Wasalin, they were walking together. How to pray while crossing time zones? You combine. If you're crossing time zones, you have the privilege of combining and shortening and combining the prayer. So wait until either one and then pray. Any plans to start the book Al-Tis'iniyah? Al-Tis'iniyah, yeah. By Imam Ibn Taymiyyah, or the book Dhammul Kalam wa Ahlihi. Ooh, the latter is nice. Are you excited about the Academy? I'm not. My family is. Yeah, my family enrolled in the Amau Academy. I should probably enroll too. I need a lot of education and learning. I'm not being funny. I'm serious. But my time is a little busy. Al-Muhim. Naam. These are good suggestions, ya Muhammad. Allahu A'lam, ya akhi. We will do a voting, inshallah, once we complete this book, if Allah keeps us alive and healthy. and we'll take it from there. حياك الله. اللي بعده. Salam Abu Mus'ab. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Baylar. People ask you about specific shubuhat from Zanadiqa, Malahida, Falasifa, or science. Brothers at SPUB feel that communal obligation by dedicating entire websites. Okay? Dedicating entire website against every major sector, detailed responses against them. Whoever's worried about their manhaj, only one website is about the rest. Is about the rest is good. Yeah, no doubt. By the way, yeah, Baylar, people that have asked me in the past about SPUBs and the website, I've said many times, when people ask me, the website is full of goods. It's full of good stuff. Just be careful of their unwarranted refutations against other Salafi du'at. Other than that, the content is very beneficial. So needless to say, if people, and thank you for reminding me, yes, if people have these kind of shubuhat, they should go and they could get information from SPUB's website. They are very, very reliable. But be careful of some of this stuff there that unfortunately is just unsound and unfair. Other than that, it's a great resource for dealing and refuting deviants and deviant sects. Thank you, Baylar. Much appreciated. يلي بعده. Is the mucus in the nose najis? Is there mucus outside the nose? Or are you trying to make a differentiation between the booger while it's in and then the booger when it goes out? So you're talking about specifically a booger that had exited the nose? Yeah, I mean, yeah, mucus is, I guess you mean does mucus apply to anything but the one from the nose? It could be a mucusy substance. I know يا بنت الناس ايش الله يهديك انت كمان مانك زي ما حد فهمان اشي في الدنيا. I don't, you educate me. The term mucus, is it strictly used for the boogers, the gooey, ewy, liquidy ones in the nose, or mucus is a term, generic term that means anything that is nasty? I don't know. Long story short, as far as I know, it's tahir. Yalla. Why is there so many books on Tawheed if Tawheed is made simple? Because of the deviation that happened among the people. Because of the deviation, you're right, Tawheed is very simple. But when people mixed Tawheed or mixed the understanding of Tawheed with philosophy and with deviance and with all kinds of nonsense, and then there was a need to break it down for those people. Now, Yalla ya Sheikh. What is a bid'ah in fiqh? To adhan before Jumu'ah introduced by Uthman, is it a wrong bid'ah? No, because Uthman is from the Khulafa al-Rashidin, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Alaykum bi sunnati wa sunnati al-Khulafa al-Rashidin al-Mahdiyyin." So Prophet sallallahu told us to follow the sunnah of the four rightly guided Khulafa, and Uthman is of them. Is there a good bid'ah and a bad bid'ah? No, please watch my lecture, The Extermination of Innovation. Please watch my lecture, The Extermination of Innovation. Do you think the Sahaba or the four Khalifa can add anything to Islam? No, they cannot add anything to Islam, but they can understand and apply certain rules of Islam depending on their ijtihad. Yes. And the fact that your name is Ash'ari and Maturidi is quite fascinating. It's like a cat that came into the house of dogs. Everybody gonna bite you. Nah, you're welcome, Habib. Inshallah ta'ala, you will be guided from this Ash'ariyya and Maturidiyya, because needless to say, none of the Sahaba were Ash'aris or Maturidis. I mean, her. But anyways, yeah, I've answered all your questions, but please watch the lecture, The Extermination of Innovation, because it answers that question very, very specifically, inshallah. Ahlan wa sahlan, Mr. Ash'ari and Maturidi. You should have added Hanafi also with it, just to complete the equation. Yallah. Updation of Tawheed. What do you think about Badr Club, Ustad? Also, the Amma Academy is really good. Allahumma barik. I don't know what Badr Club is, Habibi. I don't know what Badr Club is. يلا اللي بعده. ترى مشغولين ورانا شغل. السلام عليكم أستاذ. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. أحسن عليكم وإليكم يا حبيبي. Can one sleep while facing the left side? Yes. Yes, one can sleep while facing the left side. Where is the Watch 5 Pro? Allah. Oh, I'm wearing the fit. Oh, yeah. Okay. No, this is the old fit. The Watch 5 Pro is sitting next to my bed because today I have basketball, inshallah. And because I have basketball, I can't be wearing my bulky watch and play basketball. I might hurt someone. I might get hurt or I might break the watch. So I opted for this one instead. I wear a wristband over it so I can play basketball and count my steps and my calories while playing. So I figured from the beginning of the day, I'll get ready for the day, inshallah, and have it on. The physical rotating bezel, it's not there. There will be no physical rotating bezel. They've seen it before. Really, you went and got it? Anyways, I need to stop teasing the people with all these Samsung products. They're like, dude, what the heck is this? Sorry, guys. It's just my job. It is my job. I get these products for free, but I return them to the company. Okay, don't think I'm just, spending money. Alhamdulillah, I don't pay for any of this, but I don't get to keep it either. But as long as I have this job, alhamdulillah, I get to use these products. And then when a new one comes out, I take it and then I give back the old one. And that's how it is. Yalla ya Shaykh. Is the lesson under the chapter of miracles of awliya? Okay, yeah, it is. It's not exactly miracles of awliya. We just want to call it karamat. Karamaatal-Awliyaa. Karamat means unusual occurrence. A karama is an unusual occurrence. Let's be more specific, ya al-Hindi. عادل الهندي. يلا اللي بعده. يلا يا شيخ. الوقت يداهمنا فلنداهمه. Ustad, what if you advise your mother when she's doing something haram, but then she tells you stop giving advice? What to do? Stop giving advice. Stop giving her advice at that time. And find a better occasion when she's feeling better. Next. Can a female travel with a Christian mahram? Yes. Yes, she can. It is not a prerequisite for the mahram to be a Muslim. It's a prerequisite for the wali of a woman who's her mahram and guardian to be a Muslim. But for traveling purposes and things of the sort, it doesn't have to be a Muslim. Naam. Ya akhi. There's a Deobandi YouTube channel named Al-Islam Productions refuting Salafiyya and the Mashayikh bin Baz bin Uthaymeen saying the Salaf anthropomorphize. Why do they say so? Because if you're talking about this guy who astaghfirullah al-azim, I don't want to make fun of another Muslim right now. Akhi, they do so because they're ignorant. Okay? And if you go through our classes, you will understand very well that we don't believe in anthropomorphism, nor do we promote it. We simply accept what Allah said about himself in the Quran and what the Prophet ﷺ said about Allah in the Sunnah. That's all. To them, this is anthropomorphy because they are in a state of inkar. They are in a state of complete denial of the names and attributes of Allah. And so the only way they can do so is by calling us names to justify their deviance. You should know that already. Yalla. But then again, I'd rather not. Is watching boxing permissible? Of course not. Of course not. And if you watch some highlights out of curiosity, I understand. I'm tempted like you are to watch it. But at the end of the day, striking someone in the face is haram. So Allah musta'an. That channel, Islam Productions, is a joke. And the brother who speaks is a bigger joke. The guy does not even know the basics. And if it was only worth it, we would refute him. But I don't even think they're worth it right now. We're not going to answer questions about other people anymore. We're done with talking about Asim al-Hakim. I think we've spoken about it more than we've spoken about the actual lesson. Yili ba'du. Don't put these anymore, Mussab. Send me the location of the basketball meet. I mean, how do I send you the location? Azhar, you're acting like you're the president of a country and everybody has your number. What is that supposed to mean? I send it to you over here and I have the whole people come. Come on now, man. If you're living in Riyadh and you're accessible, then you should be able to get me on Instagram. Whoever cares and needs me, then one way to fitness is your way. And if your message is silly, I'm going to ignore you. If it's not, then I'm going to respond to you. Now, recently started working out and can't get enough protein normally, so looking into the whey. What do you recommend? Any general advice? Yeah. If you want to take whey protein, that's probably the most safe, the safest option out there. Gold Standard is a reliable, authentic brand that you could use for whey protein, inshallah. Now, is this into darbukka? No music or other instrument allowed as part of an exercise routine to aid keeping pace and motivation. Darbukka, we have in the Lebanese culture drumbakke, and drumbakke is actually a type of drum. Any type of drum sound, even if you do it on the table, anything on the table, it's like a kind of a drumbakke. I don't know if we're talking about the same thing, but that's music. How can it not be music? I don't know what you're talking about. How do I find what this darbukka is? Oh, it is the same. It's a drumbakke, like ya sheikha. Drumbakke, this is like the famous musical instrument. Of course it's haram. It's a musical instrument. Very common in our region. It's a very common instrument. Yes, it's a drum alone, I know. Actually, they usually come with the dingly bingly jingly ding. But even if it comes without the jingly dingly bingly bing, it's still a drum, and there's no occasion. It's neither a wedding nor Eid. So if it's a wedding or Eid, knock yourself out. If there's no wedding, no Eid, then there's no drumbakke. I didn't know they call it darbuka. We call it drumbakke. Yalla, اللي بعده. Yalla ya sheikh. What is bid'ah and fiqh? Khalas ya habibi, khalas, we already answered this question. Ash'ari and Maturidi. Allah yarda alayk. Please go watch the lecture. Stop harassing us here and go watch the lecture, Extermination of Innovation. Everything you're ranting about here, we've already answered over there. Okay? Be nice to us. We're trying to be nice to you. Be nice to us. You're coming over here to harass us. We will block you and life goes on. But we don't want to be mean. We want to have a good time with you, brother. Come on now. Give us a break, habibi. Yili ba'du. Yes, you can clip it, yeah, Iman's homeschool. You could do anything you want with our channel. You have a green light and a permanent visa and a permanent residency to do whatever you want, inshallah. Special privilege. We don't even have that privilege. Next, yalla ya hajj. Oh. Ustad, what is muraqabah in Islam? Muraqabah is the state of being conscious of Allah Azza wa Jal. Meaning you being mindful of the fact that Allah Azza wa Jal is watching you. And no, it's not meditation. It is not meditation. Some of of course, the Sufis take anything from Islam and they exaggerate it and make it false and they ruin it. But the concept of muraqabah is basically the concept of ihsan. أن تعبد الله كأنك تراه فإن لم تكن تراه فإنه يراك. To worship Allah as though you could see Him, but if you can't reach that level, know that Allah sees you. That's muraqabah. No more, no less. And it's time to block our friend Ash'ari and Maturidi. Goodbye. Ahid. He's sitting there answering questions also on our behalf. حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. اللي بعد يا شيخ. Okay. Try to find a question. A relative had invited orphan kids from some madrasa for lunch. Okay. The kids came and recited a few adhkar using beads without counting the exact number, but till all beads got over. Okay. Next. There's no part two. Type. That's the scholars have differed on the use of the sabha or masbaha or the beads. Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah was of the opinion that it's a bid'ah. Other scholars are more lenient about it. They say that it's just a means for you to, you know what I'm saying, for you to keep track of what you're counting, what you're saying, what the adhkar. يعني, Allahu a'lam. It really depends on who you ask. I personally, I like using the beads for as a decoration. Like I use it for as a fidget spinner, as a fidget. So I fiddle with it when I'm in my car. It's nice to hold it, and it's among the Arab, the Arab style, Arab Gulf lifestyles, that you have a fancy pen, and you have these cuffs for the thawb or for your shirt, and that you have a nice sabha along with rings. I don't do all of that, but I like the sabha, but I don't use it for adhkar. So I understand the association with that. Obviously, the better option is not to use it, to use your fingers. Now, part 2, please. We cannot find it, ya Sahar. She just left a comment saying part 2, please. Meaning she put part 1 and part 2 is there, but we can't find it. I'm looking for it also. We'll come back to it. I hope I answered your question. Yeah, we cannot find part 2, yeah. No, I looked through everything. It's not there. It is not there. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum salam. How can we get rid of waswas? Are there dua or surah to help against waswas? Of course. You recite all of the adhkar and the ayat that have to do with ruqya. So you can do a ruqya, which is a spiritual remedy on yourself. That includes Surah Al-Fatiha, that includes Ayat al-Kursi, that includes the end of Surah Al-Baqarah, that includes the Surah Al-Ikhlas, wal-Ma'uwidhatan, all of these among general ad'iyah, asking Allah Azza wa Jal to protect you from that. I don't know of any particular hadith from the Prophet ﷺ that, there's a number of hadith actually that involve the wasawis and being protected from them. But that includes the adhkar of the morning and the evening. So those in general have to be active. Basically seek knowledge, learn, educate yourself, because knowledge is among the biggest means for you to rid yourselves of these wasawis, and know that Allah Azza wa Jal is testing you to see how sincere and how you will persevere. So don't lose hope and hang in there. It's a phase. It will come and then it will go, inshallah, if you remain patient. May Allah show, make it easy for you. Ash'ari Maturidi is back asking why I blocked him, and I'm going to block him again. Does the Quran need to be read in Arabic? Of course. Of course. Yalla li ba'du. Is it allowed to deliberately think of haram? Well, I mean, I don't know if I cannot tell you. I know it's not recommended. Whether it is halal or haram, Allahu a'lam. Because we know that from the hadith, about the person who intends on doing something haram, but then he doesn't do it for the sake of Allah. It's an issue. Usually it's related to fantasizing about something inappropriate, if that's what you mean. Probably that's what is intended usually, that someone actively thinks about them doing stuff and stuff like that, and that usually will lead to haram. And so the general principle is whatever leads to haram is haram in and of itself. So it really depends on what type of haram you're thinking about and how much time you're spending on it. It's something to be worried about for sure. Just leave it alone. Now, can you start a YouTube channel where you do halal unboxing and review of Samsung mobiles, because many channels contain music? I have a channel already for that. It's just that I don't have enough time to do all this, which makes me a very, very naughty person. I have a channel on YouTube titled Wajdi Akkari, and on there you'll find a couple of videos of me actually speaking about Samsung products, but in Arabic. It's in Arabic because that's my audience for that particular segment. So it's there. I just need to be more active, and it's a lot of work. I was supposed to do this project with Mussab, but we were busy discussing other things. Yeah, next. Where can I find what is Fard Kifaya? Is there a compiled list? I'm not familiar with any compilation of Furud al-Kifaya, but that's a good question that needs to be researched. Yalla. جيد يا Abdullah. We'll look it up inshallah. Remind me for next time. Hey, we passed our time. When Jibreel came to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is it true? Is it in his true form? Was Jibreel wings in the sky? Yes, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam saw Jibreel in his true form twice. One of them was the first time when he received اقرأ بسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق until the end of the ayat. Now, could you shape your beard, not trim? Okay. The issue of, first of all, Jazakallah khair, that reminded me of a very important thing that I've been wanting to discuss. Okay. Which is manners. Having manners. Now, some of you have asked me multiple times if I shave or if I trim my beard. Okay. What is wrong with that? I'll tell you what's wrong with that. It's one of two scenarios. Scenario number one, let's say I do. Let's say hypothetically that I do. You are basically putting me in a situation where I am forced to lie. And forcing a person to lie is not appropriate. Not just because I'm a public speaker with any Muslim. Putting him in a situation where they have to lie by the way you formulate the question is incorrect and inappropriate. Scenario number two, that I don't trim the beard at all, and therefore the way you word the question remains to be a problem. What would be more appropriate is to ask a general question. Is it okay to trim the beard or not? And that way you will get the answer to your question without having the person answering be in a predicament where they have to now contradict themselves. You understand what I'm saying? So in general, if you have a problem or if you're confused, ask a generic general question like this one. Is it okay to shave or trim the beard? End of story. I will give you the answer. Whatever I do is between me and Allah. You understand what I'm saying? This is assuming that I was doing so. I've explained to you a million times. I'm not a hairy person. I'm not a hairy person. My armpit hair grew when I was like 20 years old. I had like four hairs when I was 20 years old. My first facial hair was, I think, after I had my first child almost. I'm not a hairy person. This is it. Yes, 20 years. I've been growing my beard since I'm 22 years old. Since I was 22, I'm 43. It's 21 years. This is me. What do you want me to do? Yani, go pull it out? You want me to add the vegetables here and put soil? Khalas. You understand? This is what I have. Leave my beard alone in general. So don't ask me about it again. Now, coming to the discussion, there's two opinions, ya akhwan. There's one opinion that you cannot trim any part of the beard. Halu, as is, grow it as is. Don't touch it. And the other opinion, which was basically adopted and defended and championed by Imam Al-Albani rahimahullah, was that you can or even you should trim the beard if it goes beyond the fist. If it goes beyond the fist, based on evidences that Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu and Abu Huraira did so. Ibn Umar and Abu Huraira did so. Hello? And if this is the case, then yes, you may trim the beard. And those opinions can also accommodate, the sides and shaping it so that it looks presentable. These are the opinions that are out there regarding the issue. Now, I've given a lecture on the beard titled Let It Grow, the Natural Flow, that breaks it down. But at the end of the day, there's not much I can do for you. There are multiple opinions out there. Study the matter and see which opinion you follow. If you're truly convinced about the validity of Shaykh Albani's position, then there's no harm that you trim the beard after it goes beyond the fist. If you're not convinced, then you have to let your beard grow as is. Yeah, next. Khalas, we should be done, by the way. What are your views on engineer Muhammad Ali Mirza from Pakistan? Why would I know who Muhammad Ali Mirza is? I don't know. Is he an English-speaking person? I usually know, ya akhwan, the people within the English-speaking circle. You understand? And usually they have to be like either Arabs or Westerners. I'm not going to know someone from Pakistan or from, I don't think their English is going to be the main medium of communication. They probably speak in Urdu or something else. But, I trust the brothers here. And if they're saying that he's not someone you should listen to, then you should take heed. You should take heed. They probably have their reasons. What are the reasons? I don't know. But ala kulli hal, I don't know who this person is. And, you need to ask a Pakistani student of knowledge to answer the question about Pakistani du'at. You understand? It's only fair. All right, guys. That's a wrap. That is a wrap. And thank you very much for your time. Insha'Allah ta'ala, we will catch you next week with another tafsir and another Aqidah class. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. But everybody's saying that he's deviant, so I will take the word for it. If you have Waqar and everybody else, he's a Rafidi or an extreme Sufi. Ouch! Yeah, stay away from him. Assalamu alaikum.